Three, two, one. What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the Words from the Nerds podcast. WFTN crew, stand up.
Oh no. Oh no. He didn't tell us he was gonna do that, chat. So.
All right, guess I'm never doing that again. What is up?
No, it
Welcome
wasn't
back.
bad.
Welcome back to the podcast. Episode 58, I believe. Episode 58, third week in a row. Told y'all, man. I told y'all, just trust the process. Just trust us. Trust the process.
Us. Yeah, just trust
and we be
us.
back at it today. Me, Ben, Charlie, the two best co-hosts in the entire planet, are going over Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie. Now, before we get into that, let's check in and let's see how everyone's day is going. Ben, why don't you kick us off, man? How's your day?
I would love to. I'm doing well. It's a little late at night, but I'm very excited. I'm happy to talk about this movie after like a week of silence. It's been really hard kind of holding my thoughts from you guys, especially with this one, one of the more anticipated movies of the year for most people, I think. So I'm excited, but very curious how this discussion's going to go. This is a really interesting movie, I think, to talk about, but I'm doing well, very excited. And Charlie, I want to hear from you. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm always doing fantastic. New still getting placed in the still getting used to the new place, excuse me. I apologize for that, for the reverb if there's still any more going on. But
how do you like living on your own, I guess, in quotes? How's it been? It's only been a couple weeks, so
I enjoy not having to share a bathroom with my siblings. So I'll say that much. Yeah, I mean, other than that, it's it feels more spacious than I thought it would be. Getting used to everything else is kind of just slowly moving. I guess, well, one thing I would say is like at this point, it still kind of feels like a hotel. Like I'm not like it's not a permanent thing or something. Even though I know it is, but like I don't know if it's like
until you move to Missouri, but
yeah, until he comes and lives over here.
Yeah, that too. Actually, yeah, I mean, just living here. I mean, truthfully, but no, yeah, I'm doing fantastic. It's a great night. I'm excited to talk about this movie because, like Ben said, we've been sitting on this for well over a week, or no, not over a week, but about a week now, and so I
think exactly a week.
I don't want to. I was gonna give like a little tease of my thoughts, but I don't want to do that yet. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I think that there's gonna be a decent bit to discuss, but I feel like I might have like the least amount to say about this movie than I have any other movie we've talked about.
I will say,
we'll see.
I've been looking forward to talking about this movie since we went and watched it. Trap, 2024, M. Night Shyamalan's newest film. His last film was Knock at the Cabin, which maybe I was a little too low on at first. Looking back on that movie, I look back with fond memories. 54% critic score and a 65% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. A father and teen daughter attend a pop concert where they realize they're at the center of a dark and sinister event. And a C+ cinema score, which is more of the casual audience. I think they literally stand outside the audience and stand outside the movie theater and talk to people that come out of the audience and do like a little survey on them, and that's how they get their grasp on it. It's not like these other websites that have like critics and users going in there and dropping their stuff. So C+ cinema score, which is honestly interesting. I would assume that this movie would at least be like a B- or something, but each their own. And yeah, I guess I'll kick us off. Had a damn good time with this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, if I'm to sit here and look at it and critique it as an actual movie, it's a goddamn mess. But I was able to kind of accept that, and I was able to kind of accept the cheesiness and be like, all right, this is really fun. I'm having a pretty good time. And there's a little like there's a switch in the movie, a hard switch where I feel like everything before that was like I was like, damn, this might be like some of his best work. Like I'm loving this. And then it kind of goes off the rails, but that's about where I was like, okay, I'm able to buy in. This is fun. This has turned into a completely different, not a completely different movie, more how do I go about this? It's more it carries the same objective as the first half of the movie, just in a completely different way. And we get to see a whole new side of like the character of Josh Hartnett's serial killer in this. So yeah, I was able to buy in. I was able to accept it for what it was, and I had a lot of fun. It did take a while though. I was able to be like, or I had to kind of sit there and be like, all right, I should probably readjust in my seat and just prepare myself for a little bit of a shift. But I was able to, so I had a great time. And obviously, if I have to look at this, I'm like, all right, sorry to do this to you, but I gotta rate you honestly. I'd probably do about 2.5 to 3 stars. I'm not sure where I land yet. I feel like I'd be a little bit more towards 3 stars just because of the laughs I got in the movie. But yeah, I had a really good time. Me and my fiance left the theater and we were just like, man, you know what? That was really funny. That was really fun. Like I had a great time. I can't lie. It's dumb, it's cheesy, but you know what? I loved it. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand. I'm excited to get into more of the spoilers after we make our rounds.
Yeah, I think I'll go next. So letting Benji sit in his little thoughts that I know he's been dying to get out. But yeah, no, I was kind of in the same boat as Aiden for a bit of the movie. The beginning, especially, it was taking me a little bit to like adapt to Josh Hartnett's performance, especially. I seeing him in Oppenheimer before this, and spoiler alert, he's in an episode of The Bear.
No
Season 3.
way.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Really?
But yeah, he is.
Oh, that's sick. Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
And seeing him in that, and then like looking at him in this, early on, I was like, is he just like, did he just get like bad at acting all of a sudden? Like, I don't know. But I grew to understand that like that was sort of how he was playing the character, and I ended up appreciating it by the time I was done with the movie. But as a whole, I actually really enjoyed the espionage aspect of it, like while they were at the theater, or not the theater, but the concert. That was like super entertaining to me, and like I feel like I kind of got the same feeling as I think a lot of people have clearly when it comes to like the Knives Out series, where now they're just kind of like pumping one of those out every 2 years. And I mean, I love it. I still love the Knives Out series. I'm still looking forward to Dead Man, whatever that one's called. But in that same vein, I feel like I would love like an espionage trying to get out of a trap situation movie very frequently. I would love to get a movie like that on a frequent basis. But other than that, there's like obviously there's things I can't really like get into the weeds on until we're talking about spoilers, but there's specific things specifically in the latter half of the movie that I think just logically didn't make much sense to me. But I feel like that comes with thrillers and horror movie kind of things, even though this isn't too much of a horror movie. But I still enjoyed my experience with it very much. It was an enjoyable movie. I still walked out. I was glad that I saw it. I wasn't upset with it or anything like that. There's no egregiously bad things that I just thought didn't make the movie work. I think with the exception of like one thing. I remember thinking about one thing that I felt like that about, but I can't remember what that thing was. I'm sure I will while Benjamin's talking, but I'll get into that in the spoiler section anyway. I'd probably if we're doing it via stars, I'd probably give it like a 3.5 stars probably for me.
Oh wow, pretty good.
I
Nice.
I did enjoy the movie overall. I just small little complaints. I'm struggling to liken it to something some other film that I could make you guys understand my stance a bit more on, but I'll think about that as Benji goes. But yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. I think I share a lot of similar takes when it comes to just like enjoying a lot of the stuff that happens in the first really half of the movie, like the concert stuff, and also Josh Hartnett and his performance within that. I think somebody pointed this out, which I think is just like a good observation, is that like he has the typical dialogue and delivery from other M. Night Shyamalan movies. This one just happens to work because of who his character is, whereas like other people have pointed that out in his previous films, and it's more awkward than this is. Whereas in this case, awkward works for who he's playing. So I really did like his performance, and I found the first half to be very entertaining, engaging, not knowing like what the next step would be, but then when you figure out what the next step is, like I was still, edge of my seat and on board with it the whole time. And like what they were able to do with that for like, the first half of the movie, I felt like just the pacing of that was really well done. I do think that once we kind of made that switch about halfway through, there was a lot of questionable decisions, even about like the characters that they decided to focus on for the second half, and how they decided to create those dynamics that I don't really think worked. And so I forget who I was watching on YouTube, but I was watching a review of the movie, and it basically said that this movie would have worked really well as like a 1 hour TV episode, and that would have been like perfect. And instead, it felt like after that point, they were just like, we need 30 to 40 more minutes of content to fill. And that's what the second part of the movie is. So I definitely share all of those sentiments in regards to that. So for my score, if we're going star rating, I think I rated it 3 stars. Really wasn't feeling confident in that rating. I feel like that could change, and if I ever watch the movie again, probably will. I don't know if it'll go higher or lower though. Like it's just one of those movies that it's really hard to tell, and lots of good aspects, but so many questions and so many choices that I just don't think worked. So yeah, I don't think I need to say any more. I agree with you guys, and we'll get into more details when we talk spoilers.
Yeah. I believe the concert part of the movie, everything up until we're getting into spoilers now. If you haven't watched Trap, recommend clicking off, or if you don't care, go ahead and stay on. But that's about our little spoiler-free review. So we're gonna get into spoilers here in 3, 2, 1. The concert part of the movie, right up until he leaves and he escapes, I thought was some of Shyamalan's best work, man. I was having a blast. I was like, this game of cat and mouse is cool. Like Josh Hartnett is he just has like such a good he just has such good charisma in this to where he can just persuade this dude at the t-shirt stand to give him all this information and then just finesse his way around by like I forget what he puts in the deep fryer. Oh, he puts that jar, like the thing of oil in the deep fryer, so that he can get up to the top, to the rooftop, to where he can give the code to the people to kind of like find. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool, like the FBI against this one dude who obviously is a master at this serial killing game. And so I thought that was really fun. I was having a blast with it. I thought everything that they were doing was super cool. It felt like there was a lot of thought put in it. Everything felt very like carefully planned, how he would escape and how he'd find a way to get to backstage. And then when he gets backstage, he figures out that he can't just get out of the back door. So what's he gonna do now? I thought that was really fun. I thought that first hour, I guess, or whatever, was almost flawless. I was having a really good time, and not to say that I stopped having a good time. Obviously, we'll touch on that when we get there, but that everything with the concert and getting to slowly unfold all the mysteries about his character, and I wish we didn't know that he was which I guess it'd be hard to market it, but I wish we didn't know that he was a serial killer going into it. After seeing all the trailers.
I disagree. I'm really going to push back on that. I think because I don't think we see many movies like this where we get it from the perspective of the villain. It's not very often. I know there was a horror movie that came out earlier this year. I haven't seen it. I think it's called In a Violent Nature. That was a horror movie from the perspective of a villain. But at least for me, having it from his perspective means that, like, in all of these intense situations, the game of cat and mouse and whatnot, even though you know that he's like morally he's the bad guy, you're still rooting for him to win in these situations. Like, you want to see him succeed and make it out of all of these different scenarios that he's put in. And like, so watching him cleverly do that, even though he's bad, you're rooting for him as if he's good. And so I actually think that, like, having that perception from the beginning, then when you get towards the later parts of the movie and, you know, it goes more full in on him being evil, like, you're not surprised by that. Like, I'm glad that wasn't like, oh, this is the big reveal that, you know, now all of a sudden we know this. But instead, just knowing the whole time, I think just lets you really just embrace that from the beginning. Whereas most movies, if there's a twist like that, then you reflect back on those different situations and you view them differently. In this case, it's just there from the start.
I more so meant, I wish we would have found out the same moment. Like, say if someone bought this on DVD 5 years in the future, right? They didn't know anything about this movie. They're just like, oh, this looks cool on a streaming service. They find out that he's the serial killer when he goes in the restroom and checks on the dude. I wish that's when we also found out. Like, I mean, just don't market it as him being the... Because then I go in and I'm like, okay, Josh Hartnett's a serial killer that's trapped in this thing. It would have been cool to see if, like, oh, maybe he's just a civilian. And then 5 minutes into the movie, you're like, oh, no, he's a serial... Okay, let's strap in. Like, this is cool. That's more so what I meant.
Strap in.
No,
I agree with Aiden in the aspect that, like, knowing that piece of information, I was kind of like just waiting for the shoe to drop. Not that it took it especially long, but I found myself like, okay, I want to get into like how this trap thing is laid out and how he's going to get out of this. And like, so watching them slowly walk throughout they get to the concert early and then they go watch the opening band and then they go and get fries and burgers and stuff. I'm like, brother, show me this dude trying to get away. But actually I want to talk about some issues that I even had like within the theater stuff. Like, just, I don't know. Like, I've seen a lot of M. Night Shyamalan stuff, but I don't recall like such like dialogue that just, oh, you can't. There's a trap laid out for this guy, and apparently the only way out is backstage, but nobody can get backstage. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, dude, that's how convenient. But I mean, I can also appreciate that how that wasn't actually a way out, and like he still had to be part of, I can't remember the singer's name, but part of her entourage, her close-knit people in order to get out without being checked. So I can forgive it for that aspect, but I feel like there was a lot of just strange dialogue choices, strange choices as a whole, as Ben mentioned, and we'll get into that. I have a lot of them in the latter half.
It's just funny. Charlie's just like cooking, bro.
I know, and I give it the highest score out of you guys too, which is like, it's strange. I mean, I still really enjoyed the movie. It's just, I guess I can just look past some of these dumb things, or maybe I need to reevaluate how I measure movies.
It's just goofy. I don't know. Like, even just him, like I said, him talking to the t-shirt guy and the t-shirt guy being like, or he's like, oh, I need to get some more in the back. He's like, all right, I'll walk with you. And he's like, all right, man, yeah, come on. And he's like, yeah, dude, you into gore? All right, check this out. It's just like, this is fucking stupid, dude. This is dumb, but like, I love it. I love that he just befriended this t-shirt stand, dude. And then obviously it comes back in the post-credit scene, but it's just like, when I saw the post-credit scene, I was like, okay, that's how I should feel about the movie. Like, you know, if this was really like a Get Out situation, like, you know, then it's like, then I'm gonna judge it as if I'm gonna compare it to like these other movies that it's akin to, like Get Out or you know, these psychological thrillers that stand the test of time. Whereas I see a post-credit scene like that, I'm like, okay, I'm able to look past it. Of course he befriended the t-shirt guy. I'll give it to him, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they embrace it enough, like the silliness and the
Yeah.
the campiness of it with all of the dialogue. There's too many instances of like, oh, they have this trap going, and the only way to access this thing is through a code or through whatever. And it's just so blatantly in your face of like, this would never happen. I mean,
Yeah.
like even if you just take a step back and look at the concert, like I've been to a few concerts over the last few years. I don't know how many concerts where like in the middle of the show, multiple times, you're just like, "Oh yeah, let me go get some food. Let me go
Yeah, let
stop
me
at the
get a
merch stand. Let me go to the restroom." It's like concerts are usually you do all that stuff before or after. This
Yeah.
concert seemed like it was like a whole event, like 5+ hours long or something like that, is what it seemed like with everything that happened. So you already have to kind of suspend your disbelief in that regard, just accept the silliness and the goofiness of it, and they really just lean into it. I think the problem arises when in the second half they then try to make serious choices, and it's like, well, what happened to like all of the silliness that we were clearly just embracing, and now you want us to take this seriously, and I just don't think that approach works. So I liked the silly approach, but you gotta stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's truthfully where it just started to fall off for me. I think the scene that really did it for me, not that we have to jump into like the second half. We can stay on the concert for however long, but just to jump real quick, the moment where I was like, all right, yeah, this is dumb was when she jumps on live stream in the bathroom. Oh my god, I was like, bro, what am I watching, dude? Like that's when I kind of had to sit back and be like, all right, I'll give it a pass. And then obviously everything after that. But no, I genuinely think like I was having a blast during the concert. Like it was just cool, just seeing him get to the rooftop, seeing him take that worker's jacket, how lucky he kept getting, how convenient everything was for him. Like it was
Yeah, the other
cool.
convenient thing for me was, sorry to cut you off, was
No, you're good.
like how that when they showed that room, that kitchen that he dropped the stuff in the deep fryer was full of people. Like they showed a clip before where he was watching, full of people. Somehow he just waltzed his happy ass in there, dropped two of those things in the fryer, and walked off. Nobody saw anything. Okay, man.
Yeah.
All right, whatever you say, dog. That's fine. Cool. I guess whatever. But yeah, sorry, continue.
No, but yeah, like just things like that. It was really cool to see him like what Ben said, you're kind of you find yourself rooting for him when you know that you shouldn't because he's a literal serial killer. But Josh Hartnett just plays him with so much charisma and just um having him as the serial killer also just his looks and everything. You're just able to be like, "Yeah, I'm rooting for this guy. Like I want him to get out of here. Like I want him to defy the odds, but at the same time he is a literal monster." And so I had fun seeing him maneuver his way in and out and all the things he was able to come up with because it's like you don't have to show obviously him murdering or torturing people. You can just show him using his brain to get in and out of this trap concert that he's in, and you can be like, okay, yeah, I see why this dude is so good at doing what he
Yeah.
does. And obviously we see later that he literally did nothing. He literally left no mistakes behind him. Like he is the world's perfect serial killer. Um, but we'll get into that in the later half.
Nah,
But
he made a lot of mistakes, I would say.
you think so? Well, I'm talking more so about like all his well, I don't know. I guess that's more so up to the wife and everything like that. I was more so saying like it was never him that it was never his direct mistakes that tipped off the um the FBI or the police to know to trap him at this location. It was more so his wife and stuff like that. But
Gotcha.
either way, yeah, I enjoyed the concert aspect and the little hour that we spent there. It was very goofy. I also liked his performance in being very paranoid and just like coming up with dumb things like telling his daughter, let's jump in that hole and see where it goes. And it's like his daughter's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, he's like, yeah, you're right. I'll just shut up.
One thing, last thing I want to say about the concert, and Aiden tweeted about this, so I was very curious. But just like the cameos that popped up, like I did not expect to see Russ. Like, Parker, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, and then Kid Cudi later on, just with the white hair. And I was like, all right, man, this is I like what we're going for here. It's cool.
Awesome cameos.
Yeah, and then I guess you go, Benji. Actually,
I was gonna say I kind of have a question that pertains to the concert side of things. So, is one of the things that we're led to believe, based on my understanding watching the movie, that the like main FBI lady, she knew who he was and would recognize him? Like that's why he was avoiding her and trying to like really hide from her? Is that what we're led to believe, that she actually knows him because she had his ticket information?
I got that vibe at first, but I didn't. I think that was just like a coincidental thing. Like he was just looking at an old woman, and maybe like they tried to like connect that ideology to his mom, or maybe because they talk about also later that he got the feeling when he was looking at the singer girl, he got the feeling of like he needs to kill this girl or whatever, and maybe he had that feeling with her as well, or I don't know, because he asked questions to other people obviously that worked there about the lady in charge, obviously.
Yeah,
I think I do think that there's like a hint of like there could have been more, but it just wasn't explored, maybe about how he might know that woman from the past or something like that. But I don't think inherently no.
The reason I ask is because it felt very intentional that like when him and his daughter went on stage and the FBI lady was kind of walking around and then like went up to the stage, in his mind he was like, I can't even be seen by her. So he found a way that he could remove himself from the situation and avoid any sort of contact with her at all. But the reason why I bring that up as a question is like if she had his ticket information and knew that he was going to be at the concert, how does every single FBI agent who's there not have a picture of the guy that they're looking for? Like that wouldn't add up. So it's more so if that's not the case, which it clearly isn't because he interacted with a bunch of different agents during his time at the concert. If that's not the case, then like what was that significance with the lady? And I don't think that the movie explained that well, and I didn't really like understand what was the point of that.
I more so took it as, because there was a couple of times when he puts the earpiece on and he's listening to their reports where she keeps saying has to be a white man, middle age. We've even gotten some details that maybe he has a tattoo of a sheep or a lamb on, which again is like, how would they have that information if everyone like, how do you have that information? He's a serial killer. You don't have anybody to report to on details about this man. How do you just know he has a sheep tattoo? But there was a lot of things where she kept saying, this is who he is. He might be planning to make a distraction soon, so be aware of that. And then he's like, damn, she's good. So I feel like if he was in the backstage area and he's like, well, I'm the only fan back here, or I'm like one of the only fans back here, I fit the description. If she sees me, she's going to be on to me, or she might question me, or she might send people on me. So I feel like it was kind of a what's the word? Oh, geez, I can't think of it right now. Where she's kind of like his mirror in terms of their professions. Like he's really good at maneuvering, serial killing, blah blah blah. She's really good at the profiling and
Like
hunting him down.
basically.
Yeah. I would have never in 1,000 years had that word come to mind, but I'll leave that up to you because you're infinitely smarter than me. And so yeah, I feel like that was just like she was just like his mirror, and so he's like, this lady's as good as me in our respective professions. I need to stay away from her at all costs. I need to find information about her. I need to see like what is she looking for? Who is she looking for? Do I fit that? And kind of go from there. And so that's what I interpreted it as.
I like that. The other issue that I had with the theater thing, this is the last of them. I keep saying theater with the concert. Like when he got the earpiece, why are you not just like constantly wearing that, dog? Like he kept taking it out and putting it back in, and like, what are you, brother? Keep that in. You'll know if they're looking at your section. They're gonna come grab your ass. Like, dude, you are being way too carefree with that earpiece thing right now, man. Like that's crazy. I don't know. It's dude, I have so much more, bro. I have so much more in the back half. Let's get to the back half, man. Let's get to the
Yeah.
One
back
last thing. I love the M. Night Shyamalan cameo. And I love that was his niece, right? Or his daughter.
half.
Daughter.
The singer.
That's really cool. I've seen a lot of people shitting on it, but I'm like, that's cool, man. Like he's putting his family on. She had some really good songs too. Not gonna lie. She has them
That's
up.
such like the way of the internet lately, bro. Like James Gunn is getting cooked for it too, and it's just so like I don't understand, bro. Like I get it, I get wanting new blood in there. Trust me, I understand. But like, I don't think that there's anything wrong up to a certain point. One could argue. I think the one thing with James Gunn's thing that I have an issue with so far, but I think it's a non-issue because I don't think this is going to be the real Green Lantern, is casting Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner.
Mhm.
I think that's probably a little bit much, but I'm okay with it because I don't think that he's going to be the Green Lantern. So it's whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean stuff like it's such a, I mean it is like it's a consequential role to this film, absolutely. But this is like the first time she's been cast in one of his movies, I believe, right? So like,
Yeah.
what does it matter?
Yeah.
It's not.
I thought
I
it
don't
was
know how
really
it changes
cool.
your guys' lives on the internet, but whatever.
Yeah.
I think if she was, it's weird. I was totally fine with her playing the role of being the singer and like the focus of the concert. Obviously, you could say like it's also a way for her music to be promoted. Whatever, I don't really care if that's the case. I think then the decisions in the second half to make her a main
Now we can take it
character,
away. Yeah, take it away.
that's where I have a problem. And it has nothing to do with the fact that she's related to the director. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think that she should have joined our main cast of characters for the second half. That's where I draw an issue. But I don't care about the whole family connection or whatever. It all has to do with how that was actually portrayed in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't care at all for how she acted, her acting skills. Didn't really bother me. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here I'm not gonna act like I'm on my high horse or anything. More so just give me back Josh Hartnett. I want him back. Give me back him as my main character. Like that's who I want. And so yeah, I don't care her to be the pop star, her get her music promoted, all that. It's just keep Josh up there. All right. Keep him in my movie.
As we move into talking about the second half of the movie, I guess I have a question because there's kind of that pivotal moment where he makes the choice, like, I'm just gonna tell her and this is my way out. Because I didn't know that was the approach that he was gonna go in that situation because he's been so sneaky and he's always found the way out. So for you guys, like when you saw that decision and you saw like this is what he thinks is the smartest play, were you like, yeah, this makes sense, I'm on board with this? Or were you kind of like, oh, this seems a bit drastic? Like, was there another way, or was the decision like, yeah, that makes sense for him to escape?
It made sense. Yeah, shut up. It made sense to me, just because I had two options in my head for the way it was going to play out. That was one of them. That he was just going to straight up tell her, and like I'm going. I didn't think he was going to be like, I'll kill this guy. I thought he was going to be like, I'm going to kill you right here, right now, if you don't take us out of here. And then the other option, I thought he was just going to like be more of like the begging, asking for too much kind of dad, because I thought he was just gonna, can your daughter and I please ride in your limo? It would make her entire lifetime. I thought that's where I bought in. Yes, I thought it was a believable way to go. And I did think at the same time that it was drastic, but desperate times.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna pull her in there and try one last Hail Mary of like, oh, like, could we please just get out with you? Like my daughter is 'cause I think he even says he's like, she doesn't do really good in tight spaces, and like, we don't want to go through those police officers out there. And so that's what I thought he was gonna lead to, was like, oh, CO2, this and this, and to try and get away, to sneak out with her so that but thinking about it, I'm like, whenever they said that they had to do the check and then they could leave backstage, like my world started spinning for him. I was like, oh man, like I'm uncomfortable because I know in his head he's like, oh, this is it. Like I'm just gonna have to get caught. Like, and so it makes sense for him to be like, there's literally nothing I can do. Hey, come here. I'll kill this dude if you don't let us get out. Which ultimately ended up being his downfall. But I I kind of like that decision and to make him be like, I've gotten this far. There's literally nothing left. I'm just gonna have to throw a Hail Mary out there.
Yeah, I think just to something I wanted to mention from Charlie's point about like him threatening to kill her. The vibe that I got from him, like all movie, is that he's really smart and really good at planning, but I didn't find that he was that like physically intimidating. Like that's not the kind of threat that he posed as a serial killer. It was more the methodical, the planning and whatnot. It wasn't like he could get her in a room and like threaten to kill her right then and there. That's not the vibes that I was getting from him. And even in the later half, I feel like still for the most
I would say
part,
I agree until the very end with his wife.
yes,
I would say I would agree.
yes, yeah. But that's just something that I wanted to point out as to his reasoning for why he wasn't maybe even more drastic in some of those situations, because like in this case, his character of a serial killer is not that type of serial killer, and he like his character's just different. And I think it worked for kind of more having him be really good at this cat and mouse game, and kind of more the subtlety of his, I guess, call it genius when it comes to like killing and getting out of situations and whatnot. So I think it worked. It's just, yeah, it's different.
Yeah. On to the second half. My first there's so many just like what the fuck kind of questions.
It's so true. It's so true.
First one comes like I'm gonna leave out the ones that like I asked, like for example, the singer girl all of a sudden, hey Riley, can I go to your house? Like that was like a what the fuck kind of thing, but like that's just like obviously you're meant to ask like what the fuck to find out what her plan is. So I'm gonna leave that kind of stuff out. But then like why on earth does she take Riley's phone when Riley sits down next to her on the piano? What was the goal there? What was the move there?
So I think it was so that she could be like, because the dad had the phone, he was sitting there recording, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, this is so fun! Let's take a selfie. Let's use your phone." And then she's like, "Oh, I don't know," or she's like, "I don't know where my phone's at," and she's like, "Okay, we'll use your dad's phone." And then she grabs it and goes into
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The restroom.
Then when she gets in the restroom, how on earth does she just the entire movie? When this guy has opened his app, he has to enter a passcode. She just doesn't have to. She just doesn't have to enter a passcode into the camera thing.
Okay, this guy's tripping. I'm sorry.
No, what do you mean?
When she grabs the
entire
phone,
movie.
No. When she grabs the phone at the piano, she has him like it's either, I think it's in his hand unlocked. Like it is unlocked. I'm
well, no, not the phone itself, but the security app. Like the security app where he can watch the captured guy. Like he has to enter a passcode for that. Like that's a separate one than getting into his phone.
I thought when she was on the piano though, he walked over there and was like holding it and showing it to her like he had multiple times. And then she
like
grabbed it. And then she grabbed it. And so it was unlocked. She took the photo. I guess
the reason I was thinking that he was actually recording his daughter, like he was supposed to be doing. That's what I was thinking. And so, like, I thought that okay, well, once he leaves the app, it's locked. It gets locked again, and so then it would have to get unlocked. But I mean, that's probably a semantic thing, or it doesn't matter that much. But then when she's in there, right, and she does the live stream, which is that's funny. She then tells the people on her live stream to call the police. You have 3 phones on you. You have 3. What are you doing? What are you talking about? You have 3 cell phones on you. Call the cops yourself, dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
She enlisted the help of all of her followers over giving the description to the cops.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then it was so funny seeing the comments being like, a broken lion, I don't know, a broken lion, a broken lion, I know where that is. And she's like, okay, Peaches number 3450. What do you know where that? It's like, oh, nothing. Oh, my uncle lives by a blue house. Oh my gosh, okay. So then I was like, oh my god, end this immediately.
Then my next part comes with when he gets her in the car and he's about to drive off with her in his wife's car. This is, I guess, an overall point. I didn't find much value in the story they were setting up with his mother. Like, it seemed very surface level in trying to get us to understand why he is the way that he is. When I don't necessarily think that that's necessary. Like, I can just understand that he's crazy. He's a serial killer. I don't need to know why he is that way, especially for this kind of movie. I can agree in some circumstances for a different kind of movie, but like we've all said, like this is a more goofy, at least it seemed like until the very end. And I think this also talks about how serious they wanted to go towards the end because they really started to hammer home this mother stuff. I didn't really need that. I didn't think it didn't add much for me, and it didn't really go deep enough into it apart from, a parent can always see the problems with their child early on, and then nobody else can because they learn to hide it. And I was like, okay, that's great writing right there. That's cool. But it's other than that, the car scene for me, right following that, and the family is standing outside, gets her away, yada yada yada. Then he sneaks away into he pretends to be, or no, sorry, he takes down one of the SWAT guys that shows up, and then goes and steals the limo that the girl is in, only to drive away and then get caught again 5 seconds later. I just thought that was such an unnecessary scene. Why? Like the scene, the thing of importance in that scene, I think, was the discussion of him telling her, I got the feeling when I looked at you. And it's weird when I get the feeling. And then he talks about how he chooses people that think they're whole, but they're not actually whole. Nobody's whole. I thought that's great for his character. I thought that was good. But why couldn't we just have that conversation in the car beforehand?
Yeah.
Like, this just seemed unnecessary to be like another instance of like, I know he's good. I already know he's good at getting away. The whole first half of the movie, you showed me how good he is at getting away from things. So I didn't need this whole limo thing again too. It seemed like it was just fluffing out the runtime, at least to me anyway.
That's what Ben said. They had an hour and they needed a little bit more, so they threw all that stuff in there.
That's really what it felt like for me.
Crazy. Dude.
I'll raise you one better, Charlie. How in the fuck does he get out of that car with nobody in that crowd saying anything?
Yeah, dude.
How?
Like, what?
How does he just pop up in the crowd?
Oh my god! The whole crowd is specifically looking at him in the driver's seat, and then he just gets out and he's like, "What's up, guys? How we doing?" And they just like, hey, you're cool, man. You're a cool guy."
He's the best serial killer to ever live, bro. I'm telling you, he's the best.
The girl in the back seat's like, help me. And they're like, oh, no, I bet you're cool, man. I bet you're cool. Like, step out of the car.
Oh, dude.
Crazy, dude.
Okay, Aiden, the reason why I said earlier that, like, he's not that good is, like, the fact that his phone just was grabbed out of his hands, or the amount of times that, like, she would escape or whatever, like, in the car with the handcuffs, and, like, all of these different instances. that's what the second half felt like. It felt like
Yeah.
her outsmarting him and then him having to respond to the fact that he's now in a worse situation. It didn't feel
Yeah.
like he was in control at all. It felt like she was actually the one who was making smarter decisions, but it wasn't even smart decisions. It's just because he was being that stupid
Yeah.
with it. And
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, in like the end and the climax of the movie, none of that really ended up mattering because we find out the information about his wife. So all of that's kind of irrelevant at that point. But yeah, he goes from like the concert where he's like every single time, even, you have to suspend some disbelief, but you're still like, okay, he's really good at this, to then like, he's dumb. Like he's just bad.
And
you
like,
know,
that's the thing. Sorry to cut you off. That's the
You're
thing
good.
I want to like to further your point. Normally, I would to play devil's advocate. I would argue like, oh well, maybe he just doesn't work well under pressure. But that entire time, the first half of the movie, he's working under pressure and he's doing a damn good job. And then so the latter half with him getting caught, it's just like, come on, dude. Like this, what you previously established is not following through so far, and you're just expecting me to suspend my disbelief even further than I already have. After you have established this sense of, I don't know, identity and ability with this character, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I was really hoping, this is dumb, but like I was like, man, we've gotten dumb. Why not get dumber? I was really hoping that at the end the wife would be revealed to be working with him. Not that that would have made any sense, but what in this movie made any fucking sense anyways? let's just go ahead and throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. But I do like that. I love that he was a firefighter. He was an EMT. That something about like the houses are at like fire risk or like fire danger, and so they just stay abandoned forever. And that's how he would find these houses to like do his killings there, and that way nobody ever suspects a thing. I thought all that was really cool. All his backstory, casting Josh Hartnett as the serial killer, because he is a handsome, charismatic dude, and so it's believable that he can just go under the radar and never be suspected of anything until he's eventually caught and has to show that other side of him. But thought all that was pretty cool, but I was really hoping for just a really dumb, not make sense at all twist at the end. But
what you're saying is like, it almost pisses me off. Like the fact that you have really good casting for this role and for M. Night Shyamalan's dialogue that he chooses to write every single film. Like, that's perfect. Really cool concept with like the whole concert setting and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure that's basically all they showed us in the trailers. I don't remember seeing like any of the second half stuff. And
that's why I thought the movie was going to end right there. And I was like, okay, he got away. Like, this is a cool thing. This is awesome. This is some of his best work.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's just all of that. And like, I'm not saying it was amazing in the first half, but I was there with the movie, I was happy with it. And then like, as soon as the change happened and everything was so different, we step away from the concert, they ruin his character. I don't know. Like, for me, that's where it goes from like, I'm on board with this. This is a lot of good ingredients and like, it's working, they're cooking. And then the second half, it's like they decide to switch recipes, and all of a sudden it's just a big mess, a big glop of nothing. It's just, I don't know. That's where it loses me, is like, it was so promising. And then like by the end, you're like, why? How did we get here? Like, why are we here right now?
Yeah. When he's sitting at the dinner table, I was like, oh, how did we get here? What the fuck just happened the past 30 minutes?
And I agree with what I agree with what you said, Aiden, as well. Like, I expected the movie to end after he got away with the limo, after he got away from the limo, I should say. And so then by that time, he's escaped so much throughout this movie that when the last one comes and he's unpicking his cuffs. Well, which one? I don't believe you're getting out of that situation. You're getting transported by 10 SWAT guys, bro. And they were watching your ass as you get into the car. You think that when they open the door, they're not going to have 10 AR-15s trained on your ass? Like, what do you like? Oh, like anyway.
No,
but
Charlie. He's gonna overpower one of them, and he's just gonna walk out of there.
That's the kind of like, oh my gosh. But it's so when he escapes this time, and I'm watching him unpick his handcuffs, I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. Like at this point, it's like too much. But I jumped ahead a little bit. I want to talk about the him and his wife's situation. Another what the fuck kind of question to me. So the wife's grand plan, after finding out that her husband might be a serial killer by following him to one of his abandoned houses, is to leave the receipt for a concert that he's taking their daughter to.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna put my daughter in some potential danger real quick so they can capture my husband. You know, that's
just call the goddamn police, awesome. Man.
Yeah, dude, like what the flip? Call the cops and then have the kids. You take the kids out to tell them you're taking them out to ice cream for the night or something like that. Like it's not that hard. Yeah. And also, actually, another thing I skipped over. He mentions in the car, not the limo, but before that, in his wife's car with the singer girl, that he never looks through the house with that lens, right? He never looks through the house where he just spends his time with his family through the lens of the serial killer. He's never done that because he didn't. That's why he didn't expect his family to crawl out of his daughter's bedroom and climb down that tree. Why the fuck do you have an escape hatch then, like what?
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about? True. You don't look at the house like that, yet you have an escape tunnel that goes out to your neighbor's yard. What are you talking about? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Oh my goodness.
But I want to further your point about the wife leaving the ticket. The funny thing for me is like, if the FBI receives that and their conclusion is we think that this serial killer is going to be at this concert, so we're going to send out, 1 million FBI agents, when we still don't know what he looks like. We still don't know who he is. None of that is confirmed, but we received this ticket and this tip that this is him. It's like, how do you not know more than that?
Yeah, dude.
And if you don't know more than that, then why are you dispatching the whole army?
The budget for that had to be crazy, bro. For not knowing what he looks like, the budget that went into that operation had to have been insane. The tax dollars.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude. And then also, like, it's not even the fact that, like, they have no idea what he looks like, down to the point they make that a point in the movie when he's wearing the earpiece thing. They say, oh, he could be black, he could be white, he's tall, dark hair. Like, what? They're given a million different descriptions of this guy, and so they're having to check like we're meant to believe anyway that they're checking every single man in the stadium. And it's just like,
for what? For what? For like,
that's a good question.
He could literally be in. Like, what are you sitting there at? Have you killed anyone in the past?
Yeah, like, what are the questions are they asking?
Oh my god, I love this movie so much, dude. It's literally just a dumb fun movie. Like,
but like, I could have bought into it if those were the silly questions from the first half. I'm good, okay. Yeah. But it's the fact that then they do things that they want you to take seriously, and they you can't have both. You just can't. Yeah. At least for me, it's like the balance was not there.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolute blast of a movie. You have to jump on that ship really early. Like, as soon as that tone shifts and they're going to his house, you have to jump right on board, and you have to get carried away with the rest of the movie. I have a question for y'all. What should the clickbait title be for this episode? Is Trap the best movie of the year?
Oh my gosh. I do feel like that's a nice blend with the thumbnail, like with him looking all goofy. It's like, is Trap the best movie of the year?
It's
Oh
so
yeah,
funny
with the yeah.
to see, because like I follow a lot of people on Letterboxd, and to see some of the people who historically have always loved M. Night Shyamalan movies just throwing out 5 stars for this film
Crazy.
is so, it's so funny, but it's, you know, whatever. But I did want to ask, just because we're talking about kind of the second half / the ending, along with questions that we have about this movie, why did he eat the cake?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna
Especially
bring that up
after
as well.
she knows. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't know the extent that she tipped off the FBI, whatever. Well, tipped off, whatever that means, giving them a concert ticket. But even so, at that point, it's like, what are we doing? And also, did that really have an effect on him? That was the other question.
The drugs?
Yeah, they tried to make it like, at first you're just like, oh, is he just gonna like die and that's like his wife kills him and that's it? But instead it's like all of a sudden he's like fine.
Yeah.
Like it didn't do anything.
Dude, that's the other thing too. Bro was on, and granted, I know that this can happen in real life too. I know I've seen like body cam videos of it, but like, dude's on drugs, already wobbly, gets tased at the same time by 2 different tasers twice, and he's still walking. Like, what are we talking about? That is crazy.
I thought I was tripping in that scene. What is happening?
Well, I'll tell you, one taser balanced out so here's him on drugs, here's it balanced it out, and then the other taser.
There's like a positive and negative taser. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But that's another thing too. I like the only way I can think to understand why they had him eat the pie or cake or whatever was because he has OCD and like he needed to finish off the cake to have it be like, I don't know, normal.
But she suggested it, right? Like he didn't.
Yeah, she did. No, yeah, she did.
Yeah, but when she pointed at it, I think it was like only a quarter of the cake left, and so she's like,
she's like, let's finish the cake, and she said it was for
like,
a celebration. Or she said it's supposed to be a celebration.
And so I can definitely see him being like, I already looked at the cake, now I have to eat it, or else it won't be completely finished, and like, just spiraling out there. So maybe.
I also do like that he said though, like, this isn't going to slow things down much. I'm going to eat this in 5 bites.
I'm going to devour the fuck out this tasty ass cake.
What he meant was, it doesn't matter. Tase me. I don't care. Like this is happening.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
But then the last thing for me, before you go, Ben, the last thing, when they let him kneel down and look at the bike, I was like, oh yeah, because he's going to miss his kids. Yeah. You're telling me he ripped off a fucking spoke of the tire just effortlessly without them noticing that? That is crazy, dude.
Let me defend this movie so hard that both of y'all roll y'all's eyes to the back of y'all's heads. All right. What if he's so OCD that he knew if he were ever to get caught, that bike would stay laying down? He'd cut a little bit of the spoke so that it would be easy for him to pick it. All right, there you go. M. Night Shyamalan, I got you, bro.
There's no way. Here's the thing. The thing is if he hadn't done that, like, let's say he never knelt down to the bike and he never got out of the handcuffs, to me, it wouldn't change the ending. You could have him sitting in the back laughing. It doesn't change how I feel. Like the fact that he got out, like it doesn't matter.
He's not getting out of that situation. I know he's not getting out of that.
Yeah.
Like, you got me tripping.
All I was about to ask just what you guys thought of the end, because it almost feels like the movie is trying for, hey, like he escaped one more time. And then
Trap 2! Let's go! Sequel.
Well, he needs to join the Avengers to help trap Dr. Doom.
Oh, that picture had
Trap, we need you to contain Dr. Doom.
Calling him Trap. Oh my god.
So what did you guys think of the ending?
I think nope, my turn, Charlie. I I honestly think it's just another big like, oh, he escaped, he survived the concert, he escaped all movie, he even escaped after he got caught. He's escaped once again. Like he will always have the upper hand. But then it's like, yeah, but you're contrasting that with him going to the penitentiary after he got caught because he tipped his wife off because he was just sloppy with like sneaking out late. So it's like, is he really a mastermind genius that works great under pressure, or is he just creating all this pressure for his own self, and this is just another way of him escaping that pressure, just prolonging his inevitable prison uh prison time. I don't know. I I hope it's a door into Trap 2. I mean, that'd be awesome. I'd be sitting there night one. But honestly, I think it's more so just to show that he's done it once again, and he won in a way because he's the main character, and I know y'all wanted to see him win. So here is a win, and also he's going away forever. So there's the satisfaction for the other half of the audience. I don't know. Honestly, don't even want to think about it.
He also references multiple times how he's gonna like end his own life, and so when I'm watching him escape, like obviously they're gonna even if he does get out of that situation, which I don't think he does, they're immediately putting your family in witness protection, and I guess I'm supposed to believe that he's gonna be able to get into that house wherever they're placed somehow, etc. But is he continuing? Is that his last like victim needs to be his wife? Is that the only reason he's still like trying to escape and whatnot? Because otherwise, I just like take that spoke and stab your jugular, brother. Like I don't understand what you're. I don't know. It was a very like I mentioned earlier, watching him escape again after watching him escape 2 other times in this movie. I was so checked out of it that by that point, and I was just like, all right, man, like it's I get the idea. He's really good at escaping traps.
Yeah. Honestly. Oh wow, yeah, that's a good name of the film, huh?
They were sitting in the editing room like, what do we call this, man? Like I don't know. What has he gotten out of it a couple of times? He's been trapped once or twice in this movie.
Say that again.
Guy gets instantly promoted. That reminds me of there's like a guy at Pixar who's in charge of coming up with movie titles who makes a bunch of money, and then he apparently got like I forget what it was, but he got like a $300,000 bonus for coming up with Cars or something stupid like that.
He's like, what should we name this? Cars. How about that?
Yeah.
Cars.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's all my thoughts on
yeah, I think that encapsulates all of our thoughts on Trap, right? I don't think anybody else has any other glowing. It sounds like I've been shitting on this movie, and I gave it that's crazy. It's so crazy to me. I've been shitting on this movie. I feel like more than you guys.
I mean, I agree with you. You've just been the most outspoken.
It's horrible. It is a bad movie. It is a bad movie. I will come out and say it is a very bad movie. It's mid, a little bit higher than mid for me. But I was still able to have like, it's a dumb fun movie. It's not one of those movies where I was like, man, that was just trash. It's like, that was trash, but I loved it for what it was, and I was able to have fun and just, like, what's he gonna do next? How's he gonna get out of this one? Like, if there was anything to take away from that. So yeah, I agree. It is a bad movie.
Yeah. I also concur. I still found enjoyment in it. Like I said, the espionage aspect of it was really good until it wasn't anymore, because they did it too much. But yeah, M. Night. I'm still going to be there for your movies, M. Night. Yeah. If they look good, because I will say,
making these
the trailers for this movie, fantastic. Still fantastic.
Yeah.
They really, really set up the concept well and really got me into wanting to watch it. It's like I don't want to go too far off topic here, but did you guys see the trailer today for Saturday Night? Like that trailer looks
No.
good too.
I saw the poster and I was really confused.
Oh, I haven't even seen the poster. I didn't see what that looks like. It's
Saturday
basically just I think it's a movie about how Saturday Night Live was created.
Really?
Began.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
it has a lot
nice
of people in it.
cast.
Yeah, it has Dylan O'Brien, Finn Wolfhard, J.K. Simmons. I think I saw in the trailer for a second.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, I'll definitely be there for that. That's oh, my girl Rachel Sennot's in it. Let's go.
Oh yes, she's in the trailer for a shot as well.
Yeah.
Oh yep, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, and Kaya Gerber, she was in Bottoms with Rachel Sennott. Okay. Oh yeah, this movie's gonna slap. That'll slap.
Aiden Sam, I'm glad I brought it up.
Oh yeah, I haven't even seen the trailer, and and you said the trailer was good though.
Yeah, it's a good. I enjoyed the trailer. I think it's a really good trailer. But again, not to get too far off track. Yeah, it's a movie. Yep.
Go check it out. We need Trap 2 because we will be here covering Trap 2 when it comes out.
Benji, any final thoughts?
I'm just thinking about that stupid meme. Just
Trap.
Distract Dr. Doom.
Oh my god, did you see the one where they last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, they had Brendan Fraser as the whale on there, and they said, "The whale, we need you to distract Kang."
Yeah,
that's just gonna keep being a thing, bro.
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, that's all I have. I've said enough.
Yeah, that should just be the thumbnail.
Actually, what I will say, just in general, because I think we might have been a little more, I don't know if hesitant's the word, but not knowing how this episode would go, because this is kind of like a smaller movie, not in a franchise. There's less stuff happening and whatnot. I just want to say this was still like just as fun to talk about. Like I hope that we continue to just be like, it doesn't matter if it's in a franchise. It doesn't matter how big the movie is. Like, we can just have fun talking about it. So
this is one of our, in my opinion, I mean, this is one of the most fun episodes in a while. So that was shout out Trap.
Shout out Trap.
But yes, thank you all for watching and listening. If you're on Spotify, I hear you can leave comments now if you're in a beta version of it. So if that's
you can also send us a text message. Check the description. It'll come in through Buzzsprout. It's a little, I don't think we've gotten any, but I'll check anyways.
It will come in through Charlie's personal phone.
Let's see. Let's check right now. Oh, no messages yet in our fan mail.
If that pops up for you, then feel free to leave us some. We would love to read it. Excuse me. But if you're on Spotify, if you have access to comments, leave a comment. We would love to hear what you thought. Audio listeners, Aiden just threw up our empty fan mail page.
It would be sick though if like at either the start or end of an episode we were like answering a few questions.
Yeah, well, it's there. It's an automatic link that Buzzsprout put on every single episode, and it's like, send us a text message, and you can click that link and you can send it, and it'll pop up on Buzzsprout. But then it has the rest of the description underneath it. So if you're listening on audio, you can send us a text message. Marvel stuff, movie stuff. Ask us whatever. Please just interact. I will send you $5 if you interact.
Dang, I'm doing it right now.
Mr. Beast out here, bro. That's crazy. Leave us a good rating on Spotify if you enjoy listening to us. We would really appreciate it. Really help put us out there, put us in front of more people, more ears, because we would love to be all up in those ear holes.
Crap.
If you're on YouTube, thank you for watching and looking at all of our wonderful faces. Drop a like on the video, possibly, please. That would be very cool of you to do. Hit the subscribe button as well. Hit the notification bell along with it, because like we've showcased, we are staying consistent. That's got to mean something, right?
Oh yeah.
Come on now. So yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate all that you have done, everybody. I mean, I think we just uploaded our Deadpool and Wolverine discussion today, and I think the views on it are doing pretty damn hot. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. For a same day up, that is crazy for us.
It's gotten as oh my god, it's at 67 views. So it's gotten more views in the first 12 hours than our than the first 9 days of our last episode. Yeah.
That is
67 views.
insane.
Awesome, dude. Let's keep it up.
You guys are crazy. Thank
That is
you,
crazy.
guys.
We're
If
back
you
and better
are one
than
of those
ever.
people that watched that video, thank you so much. And you're listening and you're watching this one. We appreciate you immensely. But yeah, this has been Trap. And Aiden, can you distract the viewers for me while I get the fuck
Trap.
out of
I need you to distract Charlie. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Adios.
Sayonara.